All right, team. So this is the take on Perpetual Endurance. In the exclusive series, there's two cars that are very easy to perform this on. The Porsche 918 and the Audi R8, I believe is what it's called. Um, you just want to go to the Porsche test track short circuit, and the video is a little bit long, but it's showing you the complete race up to about 30 miles, I believe. So some of it will speed up. I don't recommend using the the bonuses for gold until you find out who's in first place. So this one's at 10 miles. Once you get used to it, anything that's not 250 miles should be okay, especially for your first time. You don't want to go that far. So the way I drive these first 3 laps is going to be in regular speed, but I drive it the same way throughout the race. So that's why I want to show these three. I take those little shortcuts there. It prevents the traffic jam. Always take this cut right here. Usually I take it better than that. Don't slide so much. Stay on the outside a little bit. When the car starts speeding up, you're going to notice a little bit of an issue with the way the cars are in front of you. So the most important thing is how to handle that. So whether you either thread the needle and go between the cars or you stay on the outside. So there will be a couple of examples I'll slow down and show you. So here, same thing, take that cut. It doesn't save time taking that cut. If you want to stay on the track, you can. This one right here, this one's mandatory. You have to take that cut. And then when we come around this corner, right now it's easy, I can pass everybody. We're going to take this straight as possible. The straighter the line, the better. And then here, I made a mistake. I bumped into that car. You can afford to do that early in the race. It won't cost you anything. Later on, it starts becoming more of an issue. So once again, I go down that hill, take that little shortcut. Okay. So the cars are starting to space out a little bit more. And I believe right around 11 to 12 miles is when you start getting the cars stacked up. And they'll come in pairs of 3. And that's when you're at the perpetual point. Those cars will never get faster. And as long as you stay around 89 seconds, you're good. So we're going to speed it up because we're still not at that point. And you're going to see that I'm going to race the exact same way. Even in fast motion, you can see I don't change anything about the way I race. It's very important that you don't let your time dip. You just keep it as high as possible and just keep passing everybody. So cars are spacing out more and more. We're still not at perpetual point yet. You're right around this point, it gets a lot more difficult to pass cars. We're getting close. So this one lap at this track takes about 45 seconds. So if you can pass 4 cars plus the 10 seconds you get for crossing the finish line, that will always keep you ahead. So that's what I always try to remember. If I can just pass 4 cars in a lap. If I only pass 3, then I need to do a couple of laps where I pass 4. So we're coming up. We're still not at that point. Slowing it down. Now you can start to see the cars are closer together. So we've hit that perpetual point. Not going to change anything about the way I'm racing. Going to keep it the same way. So there I took the inside. And I believe coming up at this point, no, don't have to worry about this one. This one's okay. There's no cars there. So just race as normal. So the previous versions of the game, you had to worry about after you passed a car, they would start to fade away, but they would speed up really fast, and they could actually end up clipping your back end. So now that doesn't happen because they stop immediately. So you can actually cut in front of them, and you'll be fine. So at this point, 72 seconds. I'm in good shape. So I'm slowing it down right here. I didn't want to cut inside. Slowing it down, I'm going to take the outside. If I'm a little bit closer to that car as I approach that bus stop, then I want to take the inside, and that's threading the needle. So there'll be a few examples of this. There we go. So this one I'm a little bit closer right now. Now I can cut inside and go between these two cars. I don't want to try to take that turn any sharper and go to the right because he would bump me off the track, this car right here. So I want to go right between the two cars. So I thread the needle. So you start to get really good at it to where you don't even think about it. You just know when you can thread the needle, the other times you want to stay on the outside. So when you're racing, the more you stay on the outside, you probably lose about half second to 1 second, but it adds up over time. So if you're doing that too many times, you're not taking enough chances in threading the needle. So you want to thread the needle as much as possible, but you don't want to hit any other cars. Right there, I bumped him a little bit, kind of messed me up. So right here, I actually make a mistake. I went to thread the needle, and I ended up hitting the car. And it slowed me way down. So that was a mistake. It didn't affect me overall because you can see my time. I'm right back up to 80 seconds. So you do want to be careful with that. If you start to make a mistake, it's better. If it's really close, it's better to stay on the outside for that one. And then you want to be pretty close to the car before you thread the needle. Right there, there's a little glitch because I paused the game and I figured you didn't want to watch me with the game paused. But another thing is anytime I pause the game, it's always on that straightaway. I never pause anywhere else. Right when I start that straightaway, I always pause there so that when I resume the game, I always know exactly where I'm at and I'm on a long straightaway. I don't have to worry about which turn I'm at. And I pretty much do that for every track. But it makes it easier to come back into the game. So you can take a long break. You could do 50 miles, take a break, take 5-10 minutes, let the screen cool off a little bit, leave it pause, and then when you come back into it, you resume. That's the easiest thing so your eyes don't go cross-eyed. By the time I went on the inside, right there, other videos will show you when to go inside or outside. That I found doesn't really matter. So as you can see, my time never really dips below 60 seconds. I always keep that time up. I did an experiment one time where I got it all the way down to 20 seconds just to see if I can get it back up to 89. And it took about 3 laps, but it was easy. In this car and in the Porsche, they both drive and handle the same way. And they're about the same speed overall, just minor differences. So you don't even have to use the auto engineer and waste any gold doing that. If you want to do the race again, you can let this one go to service and then do the other car if you have it available. Right there, one on the outside. And so coming up, the video is going to start fast forwarding again. And I believe I just recorded up to the 30-mile mark. But for this race, I went to 50 miles to show you, that it can be done. It's very easy. There's going to be a screenshot at the end It did show my race earnings. The money, I didn't realize this was the first race of the day, so it actually earned 110%. Um, but I didn't use any other boosts for this one. The second screenshot will show I did 100 miles, showing you how much fame you'll earn and how much money you'll earn with the engineers and the boost. So you'll get to see approximately how much money you'll make just by doing 100 miles. And if you do 100 miles, every couple of days, you'll see how quickly you can level up. So you'll see that at the end. So for the rest of the video, it's just going to be just me driving in the same way. Nothing changes. There's one where I cut it real close. That's about as close as I want to get with that one, because you do run the risk of hitting that green barrier, and then once you come to a complete stop, it's almost impossible to catch back up to these cars. So unless you're at 89 seconds, there's a good chance that you're going to run out of time. Here, probably could have gone on the inside, but I played it safe, stayed on the outside. Especially since last time I went on the inside, I'm good. I didn't do too many of those in a row. Nothing to see there. Yeah, if you just take a look at that time, as soon as I get down to 65 seconds, I'm right back up to 89 seconds. Just on those last couple of turns. So if you've seen enough and you just want to skip to about the last 15 to 20 seconds of the video, you can do that, and you can take a look at those screenshots that I did that'll show you how much fame you can earn. And again, it gives you a good benchmark for if you were to do 200 miles, you're just going to double that number. All right, so this is the first one. I ended at about 52.77 miles. There you go. That's showing. Like I said, that's with the bonus, 110% bonus. That's why my money is so high on that one. So this is with 100 miles right here, 512 RS, almost 80,000 fame just for one race, and that took about half an hour. Hope you enjoyed.